Welcome to A Work in Progress with Mark and Pete.
Look, we have colors behind us.
There's colors. Our setup looks a little bit different, as you can tell.
Where are we?
We are in the basement.
That's right, the basement.
We've been relegated to the basement.
Yeah.
Relegated. Is that the word?
I don't know what relegated means,
Relegated.
but it sounded good.
Relegated. I think that's it.
Yeah, I believe you.
Mm.
You're the educated one.
Well,
and the more well-read one.
so if you listen to our podcasts, this is no different whatsoever.
Yeah. Should be roughly the same.
We can be wherever you want us to be.
Yeah.
But watch our podcasts.
If you watch and you're like, where are you guys? It's all purple and what is this? What kind of shade of blue would you call this?
I don't know my shades of blue.
Is this teal?
Teal?
Seafoam?
Turquoise? No, it's not turquoise. Seafoam.
Seafoam, I think, is green.
Oh, I was going to go with you.
Yeah, whatever.
Blue?
Yeah, we'll just say blue. Bluish with a hint of green. Anyways.
I don't see any green in it.
No? Well,
It's like a grayish blue.
You're going to have to, if you're just listening on Spotify, watch it on YouTube and look at these.
Or you can watch it on Spotify.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You can actually watch the video.
If you listen on
Spotify.
Apple Podcasts, then
You're out of luck.
You're out of luck.
Yeah.
Or
But these colors are
wherever
quite
your
loud.
favorite podcast is available.
Right. So how are you today, my friend?
I'm tired.
You're drinking some coffee?
Yeah.
Which is rare for you. So
yeah,
you must
I'm not
be.
a coffee drinker.
I love it.
And so, newborn baby has pushed me over the edge of drinking coffee. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do now.
That's who I am now. We
help?
talked about this not many weeks ago about
about me not drinking coffee.
Yeah, being a coffee person.
Yeah, and I never wanted to become dependent on it.
Well,
Annabelle.
She's up.
Is this how it starts with a baby usually? I mean, I've had babies. Why am I saying babies?
Babies.
I've had babies.
Baby. Have you seen Walk the Line?
No, a long time ago, maybe.
Johnny Cash movie with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon.
Joaquin Phoenix is in that?
Yeah, he's Johnny Cash.
No way.
Yeah, he is.
The Joker is Johnny Cash?
Yeah. It's a fantastic movie. He does a great job, and I like his singing voice that he has too in that movie. But there's a part where Reese Witherspoon, who's June Carter in the movie, he keeps calling her baby, and so she says baby, like that because she's got that southern accent too. So that made me think of that. Baby.
Yeah. So now I'm drinking coffee every once in a while to give me that extra little boost.
Welcome aboard, sir.
We'll see how long.
It's good to have you on the team.
Yeah.
It's
Do
interesting.
people like the taste?
Most, I think, lie if they say they do.
Okay.
And everyone else who's not lying either is interesting in their tastes or they butter it up with so much stuff. The majority of people don't just drink coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
There's like different types of coffee people.
Yeah.
And most of them would be at odds with each other. You know, there's the people who just want the Frappuccino, which is essentially like an ice cream smoothie that's all sugary and caramel and all this like whipped cream stuff. Yeah. And there's a little bit of coffee in there.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And then there's the black coffee drinkers who the Frappuccino people think are
right and true.
Crazy.
They are crazy.
Yeah. But if you're going for coffee for taste, usually that's a black coffee person, drinker, because you taste the coffee more than if you drown it out with like creamer.
So those are people like are particular about like Colombian blend.
Right. Yeah. They're like, I want to get my coffee from an area, from a region, from a certain
because it tastes
brand.
Different.
Yeah. Oh, dude, significantly. Because I usually drink my coffee black, just because creamer has so much junk in it that I don't want. That I'm just like, let's drink it black. But if you put creamer in it, then you can basically buy any coffee. You won't go for the cheap stuff because
then you can just load it up.
Yeah. You're not going to taste it really anyways.
My palate has gotten pretty sophisticated. I can tell the difference between like a vanilla Frappuccino and a caramel Frappuccino now. There's a difference between the two.
Nice.
Yeah, you really have to pay attention to it.
You're really getting there.
You got to let it really sit on the tongue.
Yeah.
Did you know I used to work at Starbucks? Yeah, I've told you that, right?
I think you did, yeah. The thing is, I can't justify paying that much for coffee when I can get, like a 70-cent cup at home.
That's fair.
It's just tough for me to spend $5 or $6 on a fancy coffee.
Yeah.
It's more of a treat, go out once in a while for.
Especially if you're just drinking it black.
Yeah, if I do that though, I'm not going to probably get black coffee. If I go to a coffee shop,
you'll get a yummy coffee.
I'll get a yummy
like
coffee,
a dessert coffee
because you're going out. It's the same with me going out to eat. Is when we go to dinner places, it's hard for me to buy something that I normally would just have at home anyways.
Yeah.
Like a salad, I almost will never get a salad.
You can make a salad at home.
Because salad's so easy, and I could do that at home, and I'm not paying $13 for something that's really like $4, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're overpaying for everything. But another thing is like chicken. Like I don't think I've ever ordered chicken at a restaurant, because we have chicken so often at home.
Yeah.
And it's like I could like make it at home so quick and easy. If you're out, you might as well get something different than the norm. That's my strategy.
What? I feel like anything on the menu you could make with YouTube.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but I prefer to get like, if I'm out to eat, I'll get like a crazy burger, like something that's got like all the fun stuff on it.
Gotcha.
Like mushrooms and onions. And
you're not going to have like the ingredients just sitting around your house with.
Yeah. Or if they have like a decent steak or something like that, I'll get that. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm a big fan of steak and like mashed potatoes.
Man.
What's your go-to if you go out to eat? What do you like to order?
Like if I'm splurging or like...
Yeah, let's just say money's not an option.
Money's not,
an issue. Money's not an issue.
It's going to be the steak and potatoes steak option.
Oh, especially if they have like the mashed potatoes that have the skins in it still. Big fan of that.
Me too.
Big fan of that.
Me too. I didn't grow up eating that with the skins in it at all.
I think we had it once in a while, but it was rare. Because we would usually just get the box stuff.
I feel like that's like top tier mashed potatoes. Like you're at a fancy restaurant if you're eating mashed potatoes with the skins in it. April, my wife, she refuses to get the kids' mac and cheese off the kids' menu because it's 9 out of 10 just Kraft's mac and cheese.
Yeah. It's kind of the same strategy as me. Yeah, thought process.
It's crazy because like the kids' menu, they'll have like Kraft's mac and cheese, and then they'll have like 2 cheeseburgers, and it's the same price.
Yeah.
And one is significantly better than the other.
Agreed.
And my kids, without a doubt, will say, "Can I get mac and cheese?"
And then your heart sinks just a little.
Just a little.
Right. And part of you dies inside. Yeah. But it's okay.
I just paid $7 for Kraft's macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. Oh. I always use Pringles as my inflation system because as my gauge for inflation. Because when I was in high school, I was working at Piggly Wiggly, and I remember Pringles were 99 cents. Not on sale.
Like
a full can of Pringles.
A tennis can of Pringles.
Yep, it was 99 cents. And I remember the first time seeing it change, and for whatever reason, that like solidified a long-term memory in my brain of like, oh, now it's $1.19. It was 99 cents like a week ago.
Now?
I don't know. I don't know, but it's probably like two something at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of grocery items are doubled from like 10 years ago.
Probably.
Yeah, like doubled.
Like they like just go up like every little bit so you don't notice it.
Yeah. The other thing that bothers me is especially like little snack cake, like Little Debbie. Oh, they'll get you by like just shrinking the size of everything.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Slowly, like the actual size of each individual thing. And then they'll sell the same box, but there'll be less in there. Like they used to sell with 12 of them in there, and now they sell with 8 of them in there, and they're smaller. It's like, come on, you guys.
Everything looks the
same. And the price is higher. These jerks. I remember I saw it with 2 things. One was, I think it's called Sun-Kissed. It's like a chewy caramel rice patty that's covered in chocolate. Anyways, they used to be like...
Sun-Kissed is soda, though.
What is it called then? Star-Kissed? It might be Star-Kissed.
Okay.
Anyways, I think it's a Little Debbie. It's just like a round, like Rice Krispie snack that's got like caramel. It's chewy and then dipped in chocolate.
Yeah.
And they used to be like this when I was a kid. And they were like this. And now they're like this.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing the change and like telling all my siblings like, what the heck is, it's the first time I felt betrayed as a child.
And you think it's actually shrinking? It's not, you're just getting bigger?
I guarantee you they're much smaller than they used to be. Yeah. The other thing was these Sunbelt granola bars did the same thing because they used to be like, I'm trying to do a rectangle with my hands. It's not working. They used to be like this.
Frowny face.
And now they're like that.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Bite size.
They've shrunk significantly. It's very disappointing. Anyways, we're talking a lot about food, but that's fine.
No, it's making me hungry. For Starkists. I noticed it with oatmeal cream pies. Yeah. Daddy's got oatmeal cream pies, and I feel like those are just like little bite-sized chews now.
Is that the sandwich ones?
Yeah.
It makes me think of the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Because that was in the yard. They found that in the lawn when they were tiny. They came up on one of those oatmeal cream pie.
Oh, man.
Snack sandwiches.
Good.
Yeah.
Those are like a favorite snack growing up.
We were big on the cosmic brownies.
Yeah.
Chewy, delicious brownie with the little crunchies on top. Good.
You remember when they stopped making Twinkies? I mean, I think they've started making them again.
I didn't know they stopped. No.
There was a while. You weren't privy to that craziness?
It might have happened, and I just I
think it was
repressed the
in
memory.
College. But like Twinkies were going on eBay for like crazy amounts of prices because they said they were going to stop making them.
I vaguely remember, but
after a few months, they brought them back because there was so much of an outcry. Because if there's one thing to get upset about in this world, it's no more Twinkies.
I wonder if that had anything to do with that Zombieland movie. Have you seen Zombieland?
Not in a really long time again.
All right.
I need to watch some old movies again.
We need to bring in a guest that's just seen all the movies I've seen so they can relate to what I'm bringing up. Yeah, but Woody Harrelson's character in Zombieland.
Do viewing parties, just where we watch a movie and provide commentary for the entire movie.
Yeah. I have to do that if we're watching like a horror movie with my brothers.
Yeah.
We'll watch horror like rarely. But when we do, it's like I have to try and like make light of it because I get scared so easy.
Without a doubt.
I get genuinely
it's the only
terrified.
way I can get through it.
Yeah. Be like, that's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Gotta keep it light.
What's the one like a Paranormal Activity? Is that a movie?
That's a movie.
That's a movie.
Yeah.
I never watched scary movies, but that's one I watched with a bunch of my youth students.
Okay.
It was probably a terrible idea.
Whose idea was it?
They said, let's watch this movie. It's not that bad. I was like, okay.
Oh, no.
But I had to make jokes the entire time because I was cowering in fear. My insides.
My first experience with that movie, that was one of the first scary movies I'd seen, was Paranormal Activity. And I think I was probably like 13. And I went to my friend's house. And at my friend's house, we then went to his friend's house. So I transferred twice. So now I'm at my friend's house, who I've never been to his house before.
Oh, man.
I'd met him, but I'd never been to his.
This is an unknown environment.
It's an unknown environment. And they have like a really scary like horse barn that we were running around in at night.
Oh, wow.
So it was, it was creepy. Yeah. And then we ended up going inside and we go upstairs and we put on this movie. And I'm already kind of creeped out from one, not being somewhere I recognize. Two, running around in the horse barn late at night was kind of creepy. It was fun, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then they put the movie on and they all fell asleep.
No way.
And I'm up looking around at everyone else sleeping like, oh no, it's just me and this scary movie. And it's like, I don't know how this TV works. I don't know how to turn it off. Like,
oh my
I'm
goodness.
Just petrified there. It's like 13-year-old and I've like never seen a horror movie before. And I would say paranormal isn't like horror because it's just like the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like spooky and scary. So
it's not a horror movie?
I don't think so. I don't know if I would classify it as horror.
What would be classified as a horror movie then?
Like the Saw movies are definitely horror, and like that's like a gore horror. Gore. It's a gore film. It's a new genre. I like it. I guess it would be a horror. It's like a genre of the genre.
Thriller.
Yeah, maybe.
Like thriller.
Because there's
horror.
not really. If I remember that movie correctly, there's just like stuff moving around the house.
Yeah,
like stuff just moves because there's an entity in the house.
People like it. Well, yeah, I guess.
Maybe I fell asleep or closed my eyes.
There's like
before.
the scenes where like the person was like staring at the person by the side of the bed like the whole time.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't remember that.
Scary.
I might have blacked out. That's definitely horror. I'm scared right now. Just thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't do scary movies.
No.
I watched It. That's what it's called, right? The one that just came out?
Yeah, with the clown.
Yeah, with the clown.
Yeah. Pennywise.
Pennywise.
Yeah.
I went and watched that with a good buddy of mine. and who like scary movies. And yeah, it was scary. It probably wasn't scary, but for me, it was like super scary.
I think it was scary. I think there's just like levels of it depending on your tolerance of scary. That's like a comedy movie though too. Some people think comedies, certain ones are funny. Some people think they're not funny.
I thought you were saying it is like a comedy movie.
No.
Like, you did not catch that
I'm just saying, some people will go to a comedy and they'll be like, it wasn't funny.
Oh, yeah.
But someone else goes and they're like, that was hilarious.
That was hysterical.
So I think it's probably the same with a horror, scary movies. Like you thought it was very scary, but your tolerance is also a lot lower than someone who goes all the time. And they probably go to enjoy getting a slight thrill, but it's probably not nearly as scary for them.
Yeah, because I'm assuming like the more you watch, the more immune you become.
Probably. It's just like anything. Your tolerance goes up over time. Coffee, same thing.
Same thing.
Tolerance goes up over time.
Gotta start drinking more and more and more.
Hard drugs, same same thing probably. I don't know. My assumption.
Did you watch Napoleon Dynamite growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We quoted that all the time.
All the time.
My brother had a doll with a button where he would say like his catchphrases.
They made like Napoleon Dynamite merch?
Oh, yeah. It was a big deal.
Oh, wow. I knew it, man. But it was like an indie movie, wasn't it?
It started out as a super indie movie. Like, I think it held the record, at least for a while, of the most... What's the word? Like the most money made off of it versus the lowest budget.
Oh,
so I think the budget,
there's no budget to
the
that
budget
movie.
for it was like $50,000 or something.
Yeah, like nothing.
Yeah, it was like next to zero. And because there was no big actors or actresses in it
at the time.
And they didn't have any like special effects. It was just
it was just like in a town,
dude. Yeah, but we watched that all the time. And I think it turned into like a cult classic kind of thing. So it's
so good.
It became pretty big. Yeah.
It had the one guy that was kind of a big actor. I'm terrible with actors' names.
Which one?
But like the judo instructor guy.
Oh yeah, I don't know his name.
He's kind of the biggest name in it.
Probably, yeah. But he was more of a cameo.
Yeah, it's true.
Rex Kwando.
Yeah, that's right. When I proposed to April, I sang her a song called "Always and Forever." Came from the song at their wedding, and so like legitimately a verse of it is, "I love technology, but not as much as you see, but I still love technology, always and forever."
Except your voice is actually nice compared to what is it, Ken?
It's not Ken, is it? No. Shoot, what is it?
Kip.
Is it Kip?
It's Kip. Yeah. His is like, I love technology.
So good.
Fantastic.
I gotta watch that movie.
Yeah. You don't have time. You don't have time.
I need
you have a
to
newborn.
Introduce Annabelle to that movie.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe she'll sleep through
Sign it off as parenting.
Yeah.
This is my parenting time, watching Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
With my child. No. But yeah, so tired, drinking coffee, sleeping when I can.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But worth every second of it.
Parenthood for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid.
Any new developments? I know last time we talked about some things you learned in the midst of struggle.
Yeah, I guess I'll mention it, but I had talked to you in the past about using nicotine pouches for like little boosts here and there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this isn't good, so I should stop doing that.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing that. And I would justify it because there's no tobacco in it. It's just the nicotine derived from it.
Yeah.
But it affects like your dopamine levels and like the hormones and stuff going on in your brain, and going back to like the tolerance of horror movies or caffeine or anything. It's like the more you have some, the more you need to get the same result.
Yeah.
And like the first couple times you have some nicotine, you're like, wow, I feel like $1 million. This is great. I want to get all these things done. I feel super productive. Which is probably why a lot of like old timey like writers, like authors would smoke all the time. Because it kind of bumps up your like creative part of your brain and your focus and your drive to like get things done.
Yeah.
So when I was like in spots where I was super stressed out with the gym and like just feeling like no motivation, it helped give me a bump.
Yeah.
So it's just a little pouch that you like put in your lip. Again, no tobacco or anything in it. But
how long did the bump last?
It would depend, but usually only like 10, 15, 20 minutes tops.
Oh, wow.
And then it would kind of fade and be gone.
Yeah.
And then you either kind of just ride the back tail of it or you get more.
Yeah.
But they have different milligram like pouches. Yeah. So 2 is the smallest amount. And you can go up to like 8 or maybe even 12 or something. But Noah was telling me how he works with some guys. Noah's my brother. He was telling me he works with some guys who will have like multiple 4 or 8 or 10s, like 2 or 4 at the same time in their mouth.
Yeah.
So yeah, your tolerance goes up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I just recently came off that again because all it takes is that one super stressful day of like anxiety and stress. And you're just like, you know what would help a lot is this thing that I know has helped me in the past. And then you're like, oh yeah, why was I dumb enough to give this up before?
Yeah.
Because this really helps me a lot. And one of the things that helped me like decide to quit it again was it really dehydrated my vocal cords. So when you're dehydrated, it's harder to talk. And I lead workout classes all the time. So it was like inhibiting my ability to do my job. That was that. And then just when you're not using it, you don't feel as good because you're screwing up your normal levels of what your brain should be doing as far as joy.
I feel like that's the way with anything.
Yeah.
Like any type of drug.
That's a big deal, I think, with social media these days.
That's exactly what I was thinking, like social media.
Yeah.
Like if you like don't use social media for a while after you've been like on it all the time, like you feel like a part of you is missing.
Yeah. Yep. But then if you go and get past that, your baseline is like where it should be and you're normal.
Yeah.
And then like simple things like cleaning up the kitchen, like feels fun and good and like rewarding. Taking the dog for a walk is like not a chore.
It's refreshing.
It's fun. It's rewarding. It's that little bump because you're kind of floating around here, which is where a normal human should be. Yeah. Instead of like, I feel so great. I feel so bad. I feel so great. I feel awful. Yeah. And then the only way you can be like baseline is, on your phone, using social media, having caffeine, nicotine, whatever it is that you're hooked on to give you that bump. And obviously it's not healthy, but I think probably the majority of, at least America is with something.
Oh yeah.
Junk food, something. Soda, all those things that give you a little boost. Yeah. And then realizing like, oh, if I had to give that up, that would suck.
I wonder what like the drugs of the past were. Well, other than like,
what's the
drugs.
past?
But like, so like technology is a huge one right now.
Yeah.
Like huge addiction for people.
Yeah.
Like what was it before? Like all of
tobacco
that.
was a big deal. Cigarettes was a big thing.
That's fair.
I think alcohol has and still is.
Yeah.
For a decent percentage of people. I don't know
what did people like do when they were just like derping at their house?
I think they would have social events. Like they would
talk to people,
go hang out with people.
Terrifying.
Do you like not that long ago? I think like the drop-in was probably a lot more common. Like just go into somebody's house, be like, "Hey, I'm here now."
How ridiculous do we? I think they like talk to people and
like,
stuff.
I think people used to.
That sounds ancient.
People used to maybe engage in meaningful conversation, socialize with people they cared about.
Yeah. People would just like drop into people's houses. That gives me anxiety.
You probably have anxiety because you're on your phone too much.
Yeah. That's fair.
They didn't have as much anxiety. They're like, oh, cool, people.
Yay, people.
We were just sitting here throwing rocks at the wall. We're so glad you're here.
Throwing rocks at the wall.
Yeah. I think a big part of it, too, is you lose your like creativity process because you're not doing anything. You're always doing something.
Yeah.
Even like in my car, I realize like I'll put a video on that I can listen to.
Yeah.
like because just the radio is almost not stimulating enough anymore.
Wow.
It's like you got to have sound effects and like you need it's not good.
You need an awesome podcast to listen to.
Yeah, a work in progress.
Subliminal messaging.
Just put that on repeat throughout the entire podcast, even though they're currently already listening to it. It's not even helpful.
We listen to our podcast. Man, I should listen to a work.
Just ends. I think I should listen again. But yeah, we don't have a lot of dead time in our lives anymore where you can just allow your brain to kind of, explore and think and come up with fun ideas. And that's not as common.
I read an article about the 2 top things that destroyed relationships and like the community atmosphere in our country. It was the writers. They have statistics. I just don't have any sources. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me.
Right. You can Google it if you want.
There were 2 things that they said that drastically hindered people relating. Do you have any idea what they would be?
A phone, social media,
TV, television was the first one.
Okay,
but you won't get to the other one. You give up?
Yeah.
Air conditioning.
Like the thermostat? Like what degree to set it to?
No, just like having air conditioning in your house. Because before everybody would be outside.
Oh.
They'd be relating with one another.
Oh.
But then when they had air conditioning, everybody just spend all their time inside.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like feuds between relationships. Like divorce rates went up. Because people had to decide, like, I want it at 73. We can't afford that. Are you crazy? Your mother was right. This isn't going to work.
It's too cold. I want a divorce.
I haven't been comfortable since we've been together. It's me or the thermostat?
You sound like you're in the 20s. I don't know when the air conditioning started.
See? Me or the thermostat?
That's so funny. But yeah, I mean, we let a lot of things come in the way of relationships, and a lot of things come in the way of things that are important.
Yeah. It's all about your brain.
Yeah.
And self-control and discipline is tough when your brain is like screaming at you inside your skull, like, we need this thing right now. Like you're passing by, a drive-through and you're just a tiny bit hungry.
Yeah.
And you have good food at home that you could make.
Yeah.
But your brain's like, we need this right now. We're not going to survive if you don't get it. And you're like, well, I want to survive. I better go.
I have to survive.
Yeah.
Man cannot live by bread alone. He also needs Taco Bell.
Dude, Taco Bell used to be dynamite. I haven't had it in a long time.
Yeah. I feel like, when I remember Taco Bell is when it was like super cheap. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I remember about Taco Bell. Like you could go and get so much stuff and only drop like $5. Yeah, like $5.
Yeah.
And then I went there the other day and that is no longer the case.
Yeah, no. Pringles, baby.
Pringles.
Everything's doubling and tripling.
But so what I noticed is even like feeding and holding Annabelle, like in that moment, that's like I can't even be focused in that moment. Like I have my phone and I'm working or texting or sending emails or I
was rocking Henry to sleep for a nap earlier today. He was on my chest. We were on his bed and I was rocking him. And I pulled my phone out, and behind him, I'm playing chess on my phone.
Exactly.
It's like you can't just exist.
Yeah.
There has to be stimulation.
Yeah, which is crazy. Because the 5 minutes where I put my phone down and was just engaged with Annabelle and staring at her were like the best 5 minutes of my day.
Dude.
It was awesome.
We forget how awesome it is. It's like when you go for a walk or a jog, and you haven't done it for like years, and you're like, man, that was great. I got to clear my head. I got some fresh air. It's like, I should do this every day. And then the next day comes, you're like, was it really that great? Man, I don't know where my tennis shoes are. Oh, they're over there, but they're way over there.
I don't be honest. I have never gone on a jog and thought that was great.
Really? I just feel awesome
Going to the gym, like going to Eupraxia,
yeah.
That's great. I feel great.
Okay,
Love it after I go. Going on a job is straight agony for me. I take 4 steps and I get self-conscious about how my hands are flopping in front of me. Like my strides, I'm trying to run like in tempo with my music, and then a slow song comes up and I'm like running in slow motion. Oh man, I'm just too self-conscious to jog.
That's fair. I've definitely thought about the wrist thing too. It's like, what do I do with my hands? I can't do this.
Well, because an avid runner once told me that like when you run, you clench your hands, and that exerts so much more energy. So you need that. But now I run and I like flop my wrists everywhere. And
I definitely judge those people. The flaily wrist runners.
The flaily wrist. Yeah. But they are saving so much energy.
So much energy.
You don't even know. Yeah. They're going to zoom past you because they have floppy wrists.
It's the same people that have the super short shorts on and they weigh like 25 pounds. Yes. And they're just floating through.
They don't need x-rays because
propelled by their wrists flopping. It's helping them go faster, actually.
That's right.
No judgment if you jog with floppy wrists.
No.
We still love you. We're just jealous.
Just straight jealousy. My brother runs a lot. He's an avid runner. And his mentality is like, I run so that I can eat what I want.
That's why a lot of people exercise, so they can eat more.
Yeah. And so he runs marathons and stuff like that.
Whoa. Yeah, I don't care for that. It's too much.
It's too a little excessive.
Well, I also genuinely have concern about your knees. Like I've seen a lot of people who are long distance runners, and done it. I almost said chronic, like it's a disease. A chronic long distance runner.
Chronic. They were diagnosed.
I mean, it's one thing if you're in cross country when you're in high school and college, but like people who have done it for like a decade, a lot of those people's knees are just ruined because it's just hit over and over again on their knees. So
to be fair, my grandma's knees are ruined. I don't know if she's ever run a day in her life.
That's fair. Yeah. So correlation does not mean causation, but it may,
My knees really hurt when I was at the gym the other day, and I realized it's because I haven't been here in a week.
That's a factor. That'll do it.
I need to fix that.
Yeah, that's all right. You were there.
I was there.
All about getting that momentum back.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if this is too deep of a conversation, but it's where I feel like it's leading. And it's the idea of living life in comparison to other people.
Ooh, yes.
So
brutal.
So yeah. So we can jump into it.
Let's do it.
We might not get all of it. We can come back to it in other conversations.
Face first.
But I feel as though one of, if not the greatest struggle for me and for many others, is living life in order to be better than the other people and my perception of other people. So I'll look at, and it is legitimately from every area of life. So it can be another father, it can be another pastor, it can be another husband, it can just be another person, just someone at the gym, anybody. And you just see how they're doing it, and you see these snapshots of their life, and you're thinking, man, I suck.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
And I think that's the worst part of comparison is you don't see somebody who's doing better than you. At least your perception is that, and it doesn't make you think, "Oh, that's so great for them. If I do this, this, and this, I'll get closer to where they are." It's normally you see it and you're like, "Man, I suck."
Yeah.
So it's like the opposite. Instead of encouraging you to improve in what area you're self-conscious in, or you think you're lesser than, which would be great. Yeah. Most of the time, the comparison just is like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not good enough, and I'm not as good as this person, and so I might as well just give up."
Yeah. And it's so much the lies in your head. I mean, and it happens all the time. Like I am just always fighting this, like every minute of every day, it seems like. Earlier you posted like a little Instagram story of you playing with Henry today. Yeah. It was a beautiful moment. Yeah. I felt guilty that I didn't spend that time with Titus this morning.
Oh, I can never post again.
No, please continue the boast. But that's just how my mind works. Yeah. And like, I know I know that it's just comparison, and I know that I have moments where I play with Titus too. Yeah. But it's just that constant thing that my mind is telling me. What area of life do you experience it the most?
Comparison?
Yeah.
I had it in sports a little bit when I was younger because I was a competitive kid. My older brother, Ben, probably all the time. Ben says he listens to these, every single one. So what's
Really?
up? What's up, Ben?
Hey, Ben. Thanks for listening, man.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh,
if you don't text me and say great podcast, I heard you say my
gonna know
name.
it's a lie.
I'm going to know you have not been listening.
I haven't been listening.
But for most of my life, it was always like, Ben's faster than me, Ben's stronger than me, Ben's cooler than me, Ben's
better looking than you.
Well, that's never been the case. No, just jokes. But he went to the Navy, and he's like a senior chief now, which is like a really high position in the military, in the Navy. So it's just like, man, he's such an achiever. Like he just gets it done. And I was the kid where it's like I was, fly by the seat of my pants. And I was just like, oh, this sounds fun. Let me go try that. And I was just like very lackadaisical with stuff. Yeah. So I was always jealous and would compare his like drive to like achieve. Now it's definitely gyms and people in the athletic / motivation field / like nutrition and fitness, basically. So if I see other gyms in the area post about classes that they've had, and here's the thing about comparison too, especially on social media, and we know this, but it doesn't matter. We know that people are posting the best of their day, of their experiences. Yeah. A gym is not going to post an empty class and say, oh man, nobody came today. Yeah. They're going to post the full class that they're like, hey, look at all these people here, right? But the empty classes happen. Yeah. So you're comparing your day, which may or may not be going well, to somebody else's best part of their day. Yeah. Like me with Henry is like, that was 5 minutes. Yeah. Right. And you're like, oh, he's always just playing with Henry. It's like, that was like maybe 5 minutes. Yeah. Right. And it's like, I was like, Shreen, this is fun. Record it quick. Yeah. So, but yeah, when I actually unfollowed a lot of people on Instagram and Facebook, like different fitness people and gyms in the area, because every time I would see it, I would have comparison and I would feel bad about myself. Yeah. I'm not doing enough. Yeah. And I would feel fine before I saw it. And then I'd see it and I'd be like, oh, I suck. I'm not doing enough. I might as well just quit. These other gyms are better than me. This other person is doing way more work than I am in this field. Yeah. And they're getting the reach of all these people. It's like, it's just not healthy or beneficial. Yeah. So,
and it's lies. I mean, it's
for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that this person is doing something more important than you or doing something, I mean, even if it's another gym, it's still comparing apples and oranges. Mm-hmm. Like you guys aren't trying to accomplish the same thing. Right. So that's the big thing that I've wrestled with and am zoning in on more and more. So going back to Ben, if it's all right if I go back.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it must be a normal thing because my biggest comparison was with my brother growing up.
I think it's pretty common.
Oh my word. My brother, Justin, he can do anything. He could do anything he wanted and he would do amazing at it. Mm-hmm. He's just that kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And he'd be the best one on the field, on the court, on the stage. He'd be the best one up there. Yeah. He got ridiculous opportunities that opened up because of, so a quick story. He went to Moody Bible Institute. And I'm probably not telling this story exactly how it happened, but I'm telling it how a jealous brother interpreted the story.
Sure, that's fair. Yeah.
He was at Moody Bible Institute, and Casting Crowns, a really well-known Christian band, was coming to do a show, but they were running late to do a show there. So the organizers of the event did a competition where they had people come up and sing Casting Crown songs, and they voted on a winner. My brother has an incredible voice. He was one of the people that they chose from this huge crowd from Casting Crowns. So he came up and he sang like Who Am I or something in front of this huge crowd of people, and he was voted the winner of this.
Nice.
And Casting Crowns was still running late, so they asked him to run back to his dorm room, grab his guitar, and lead this massive crowd of people in worship.
Wow.
It wouldn't so he opened up for casting crowns. Like these are just the opportunities that he gets, and he deserves every single one of them. But he's written books, preached at big conferences, is pastoring a growing church and an awesome church in Guatemala. And so he does so many cool stuff. So growing up and in ministry and everything like that, I was constantly comparing myself to him and what I was producing to what he produced. And it's not a comparison. We produce very different looking things. But what I realized is that like, I could never be Justin. I can't be Justin. Right. As much as I wanted to do what Justin does, I do not have that skill set and those abilities to do what Justin does. But what I create is different. And I'm sure Justin could do what I create, but it's what I was gifted to do. Yeah. And so I'm able to do it in the way that I can do it. And he's so good about encouraging me and everything like that. I love my brother. But it was really hard growing up. I mean, he went to Moody Bible Institute. I went to Moody Bible Institute. He worked at Starbucks. I worked at Starbucks. He worked at a specific church. I worked at that same church underneath him. And so it was just, I was constantly in his footsteps, always comparing. Yeah. And so there was this element of why am I not able to do what he's doing? And then doubting myself and questioning myself. And what I'm having to tell myself again is that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm a different person than Justin. Right. And my abilities and my giftings are perfect for where I'm at and for what God gave me the opportunity to participate in. And that's where I can find joy. Like Justin wouldn't be pastoring a small church, probably because it would grow up to be a huge church in a matter of time. But God gave me the opportunity to do this and to do it well, I think. But then that comparison goes on, just like you said, to other churches in the area that are growing, that are doing exciting things, and comparing it to our small church. And it's just this reminder that like we are not those things. That although we are all churches, we have different philosophies, different missional focuses. And so let me focus on me and what I'm doing instead of just comparing it to what another church has been called to do. But that's hard.
Dude, it's really tough. It's really tough. I think it's one of the hardest things to do, especially if you struggle with it, because however the human brain is programmed, I think we look for the negative a lot of times, as opposed to it takes practice to look for the positive. Yeah. So when you're comparing yourself,
I said that too.
Comparisizing.
Like comparisonization is just really difficult.
It's difficult. But I think back to what we talked about last time with me and like the gym, and I'll like stress with gym members is if somebody who hasn't showed up for a while or somebody's been struggling with things, I'll focus on that so much more so than the person who's been consistent for months or years and is crushing it and doing a great job and being like, wow, like I didn't do it. They put the work in, but I helped facilitate this person to achieve these things, and that's a great thing. Yeah. But I'm comparing to something super negative. Yeah. But yeah.
And the hard part is if you try to do what that other gym is doing, you might not do it as well because it's not you.
Right. And I think that's something that we're talking about with Justin is like, and I have to do with myself and other gym owners and fitness people is do it yourself. Like be the best version of you that you can be, because there is only one you. I heard a relationship person talking one time about you shouldn't get in a relationship with somebody that's like you because you already exist. Yeah. Like you don't need another you in your life. Like you should just be you because you want to be with somebody who compliments you. Yeah.
You feel like Shireen is different than you?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We are yin and yang.
Yeah.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah, salt and pepper. That's right. Another Dr. DeMartini, he's a speaker guy. He talks about how basically, and it's kind of a joke, but it's also true, is like you want to marry somebody who enjoys doing the things that you hate to do. Right? So it's like, if someone hates doing dishes, but the other person finds it calming and enjoyable and rewarding to get the dishes done. Like that's the person you want to be with.
Yeah.
Someone sucks or hates cooking. The other person should probably be good at it.
Yeah.
You know, someone's really good at the finances and the budgeting. The other person might be really bad at it. But it's like, you want to find a complement, strengths to your weaknesses and vice versa. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we got into that. But comparison.
Yeah, you're your own person.
Yeah, just be yourself. And it also goes back to what I said of talking to Shireen and her kind of giving me permission to be like, I want you to be you because that's what I fell in love with. Yeah. And I think that just reduces so much stress and anxiety and all these things when we allow ourselves to just be ourselves. And sometimes we put on a facade or a mask for so long that it takes a little bit of work to figure out who you are again. When you decide like, okay, what does Mark do in this situation? Not what does Mark do because what does he think everyone else wants to see him do?
Oh man, preach.
What does Mark do? Yeah. What would I do in that situation? Then let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. And realize that it might not be the same thing that other people do.
Well, and that's okay. That's not just okay. That's important.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's important to be yourself and to be different from the people you're comparing. I did it again. You're comparing yourself. I think it's because comparing yourself.
Maybe. Comparison too.
Comparison.
Is that a word?
Comparison. I don't think that's a word. Comparisonizing. Anyways, we both have degrees.
What's the word?
Comparing.
Compare, but what's the ism?
Comparing.
Comparison. It's not comparison. Comparison. It's not comparison.
I don't think there is an ism with compare. Is there? Is there an ism?
I struggle with comparing. You're so dumb right now.
You need some sleep, brother.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think there's an ism word for it.
Comparison. That's a word, isn't it? Comparison.
It just sounds dumb.
It sounds really weird
sounds silly.
now.
Comparison.
I struggle with comparison.
I would say I struggle with comparing myself to others. That's what
that takes way too much time.
That's too many syllables.
Who has that much time?
Anyways, so how do you think we work on it? Like, what's the steady fix to comparing yourself?
So I think it's being comfortable with who you are, and I mean that's a big ask.
Yeah, it's a big step.
Comfortable with who you are, but. I mean, I know for me, like I was always self-conscious about everything I did because I was convinced people were thinking, oh, there's a better way of doing it. Even if it's not the Mark way of doing it, there's a better way of doing it. Yeah. And so I was just super self-conscious. And it took, fortunately for me, like it took time to like see the results of my decisions and be like, oh, those were good decisions. Yeah. Even if they were just Mark decisions. Oh, okay. That did work out how I assumed it was going to work out. And I was able to develop a little bit of confidence in who I was and my wisdom, I guess, and kind of my decision making and my thought processes. But that's hard to do, to become comfortable and confident in who you are instead of just living like everybody else. Because finding an identity, like that is one of the hardest things we do in life.
I think it's part of your purpose in life is to keep continuing to try to figure out who you are. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it is a lifelong process. I don't think you ever fully have a grasp on it.
Yeah. And you're always nor does it stay the same, I don't think.
Yeah, you're always growing and changing.
Yeah. But I mean, we've talked before about like how it as early as like middle school, even younger, like that struggle to find who you are.
Yeah.
and your purpose and where you add value.
And being okay and comfortable with people not liking that.
Yeah.
That's, I think, a big part of it.
Yeah.
Is you want to mold to the group, and you also want people to like you.
So that's one of the hardest parts that I experience pastoring, because with churches, especially like non-denom evangelical churches, the main metric that many people use for success is attendance. And if you are growing numerically, then you're doing well. Whereas like the main question I get asked from grandparents, relatives, friends is to how are things going? Are you growing? And that's the main metric that's used. That's never been my main metric. It's always been a challenge for me, because even though it's not my main metric, I know it's everybody else's metric as to whether they're going to view me as successful and valuable. Yeah. So that's the area in which it's a metric for me, not as if I'm growing so I'm doing good. It's I'm growing so other people think I'm doing good. Yeah. But wrestling with like what makes me a healthy pastor, what makes our church healthy, is not necessarily growing by leaps and bounds and having a huge church. And so when I come to terms with the fact that other people aren't going to think I'm doing well, but that doesn't mean I'm not doing well. That is a big step and a big hill to get over.
That's huge. That's deep.
And so my uncle, who's also a pastor, he told me that success as a pastor is faithfulness. And so just to remain faithful. And so that's been a new metric of mine, is just to continue on. Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it. Joe Dirt. Oh, okay. Another movie you need to add to your list. We should keep, I think that's 5 movies now you need to go either watch or rewatch.
I'm going to be so busy this week.
Sorry, April, I have to do my homework.
This is important stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so living life compared with how other people view your life as successful rather than what you truly believe is successful. And I mean, the hard part is if you live your life how other people is successful, you are going to be constantly coming up short. Yeah. Because that metric never ends. If my church is growing, that's great. But if it ever stops growing, I'm failing. Yeah. And I'm never successful. There's no number where like, oh, you've reached this number, now you're doing good. But rather, if I redefine success as to what I believe success is, that gives me a whole lot motivation to make those goals and to work towards that rather than trying to achieve someone else's goals for my life. Yeah. How absurd even is that, trying to achieve someone else's goals for my life? But that's what I find myself doing so often.
And what's it going to matter at the end? Yeah. When you're, let's say you make it to 92. We're going to pick 92 for you. I think that's solid. And
the guy in our church just turned 92.
That's fantastic. And you're contemplating life and everything you've done so far. Are you going to be like stoked to be like, oh, I'm glad I made all those sacrifices for my own whatever, so that I made other people think I was doing good based on their metrics. Man, I did it. I'm successful now because I did that. I don't think so. No. Most people say that they regret at the end of their life working too hard, not taking enough chances, not spending enough time with their loved ones, stuff like that. Yeah. So,
if we're honest, the people that make the biggest impact are the people that don't look like everybody else. Yeah. Are the ones that...
So otherwise you blend in.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just another face in the crowd.
Yeah.
So the weird, unique, crazy, strange, odd, risk takers, people who are bold, usually are the ones that stand out and make a difference. Yeah. With that said, you don't always have to make a crazy big difference according to how the earth or the world sees it to make a big difference. Just being a good parent or a good pastor or a good sibling is awesome. I
have so much admiration for like pastors who pastor a 50-person church for 50 years.
Oh my goodness.
Pour into those families and then into their kids and then into their kids and have like these generations of loving and shepherding these people. That's just such a beautiful thing to me.
I think so too. Pretty cool.
How cool would it be if like I got to like do Henry's wedding, or
Yeah.
how awesome would that be?
That'd be so
I guess
awesome.
you do weddings too, so you
Well,
could.
I'm
you
not
could
doing,
do it.
no.
I made my dad do my wedding. I don't regret it because he did a fantastic job, but my dad's always in pastor mode. Made him be in pastor mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, comparison is a struggle.
And if anybody watching or listening figures out how to defeat comparison, please let us know.
Yeah.
And then we'll do that.
And then we'll do that. We'll try that.
Comparisizing.
But be confident. Be confident in who you are. Be confident in how God has made you. Be confident in what you're good at and what you love doing. And pour into those things. Because when you do that, that is success. That is successful.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for chatting with me.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, listening, watching. A work in progress. We love having these conversations, and if you enjoy them too, we appreciate you being a part of them. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.